Okay, we're going to have a look at fractions, decimals, and percentages. We'll start off with fractions. Add or subtract go together, multiply, divide go together. Add, subtract, you must have the same denominators. Multiply, divide is all about cancelling top and bottom. So let's look at this wee one here. 8 3/4 plus 2 1/5 minus 3 3/10. Fix them first, make them top heavy. So 8 times 4 is 32, add 3 is 35 over 4, plus 2 times 5 is 10, add 1, 11 over 5, minus 33 over 10. You want all the bottoms the same. They all go into 20. So times this one by 5, times the top by 5. Times this one by 4, times the top by 4, and times this one by 2, and times the top by 2. Now just add the tops. 175 at 44, take away 66 gives you 153. 20 goes into that 7 times with 13 left over. Now, multiplying and dividing. So we've done a mixture here of multiplying and dividing. So make sure they're all top heavy first. 3 times 8 is 24. Add 3 is, mistake there. So it's 3 times 8 is 24. Add 3 is 27. And that's 3 over 2. This one goes upside down. So that should be 27. So that's upside down is 2/3. That 3 cancels with that 3. 8 and 2 divide by 2, so divide by 2 gives you 1, divide by 2 gives you 4. Now I've got 27 over this. 16 goes into that, and you have got 11 left over. Just fix that we will. The decimals. Whenever you are working with decimals, adding, subtracting, keep the decimals in a straight line. So adding these two numbers together, 3.67, add 0.032. So that is 0 plus 2, and so on. When you're multiplying, do the multiplication without the decimal points, then put it in at the end. So for example, 0.3 cubed is 0.3 times 0.3 times 0.3. So I would go 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then I would look back and I would say, I've got 1, 2, 3 decimal places in total. So my answer has to have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So it's 0.027. Dividing. You cannot divide by a decimal. So you need to move the point on the number you're dividing by so it's no longer a decimal. So for example, this one. I need to move my decimal point twice. So you must move it up here twice to balance it out. So that sum becomes 3267.52 divided by 2. So just dividing by 2 there. And over here, I'm going to look at the link between fractions, decimals, and percentages. A fraction to a decimal. You take the top and divide it by the bottom. So 7 divided by 8. A decimal to a fraction. See, we've got 2 decimal places. That means it's over 100. If it had 1 decimal place, it'd be over 10. If it's 3, it'd be over 1,000. A fraction to a percentage. You multiply by 100. So 7 over 8 times 100. If you're going the other way around, you divide by 100. So 32% is 32 over 100. A decimal into a percentage is multiplied by 100. So you just go 0.32 times 100 is 32%. And if you want a decimal, your percentage into a decimal, you just divide by 100. Now I'll take a separate page for the percentages, but there's 3 types. Basic percentages. Percentage change, that was, the change over the original. Change that word to change over original times 100, and backwards percentages. So we'll see each of these now. So basic percentages, for example, increase this by 65%. So 65 out of 100 times by 150, you work it out. You want to increase it, so you add it on. This one's slightly different. Find the percentage increase when 150 is increased to 200. So the change is 50. It was 150. So it's the change over the original times 100. And backwards. You write down what percentage you have. You find 1% by dividing and multiply to give the answer. So a value's been increased by 65% to £150. What was it originally? So it went up 65%, so it's now worth 165%. So 165% is 150. You're going backwards, so you find 1%, divide by 165, then find 100% by timesing by 100.